I sold my house for her. I gave up my country for her. And then, one morning, she was just gone. No note, no phone call, not even a fight. It's like I never existed. I wake up to silence. That's the first warning. Piata always hummed while she made coffee. Always. The kind of soft Thai melody that made me feel like I'd found something real in this world. But today, nothing. Just the hum of the air conditioner and the distant noise of Chiang Mai traffic bleeding through our 7th floor windows. Piata? I call out, my voice cracking like I'm 15 again. Baby, you making coffee? No answer. I roll over to her side of the bed. Cold. Not warm cold like she just got up. Ice cold like nobody's been there for hours. My chest tightens. I sit up, scanning the room. Her silk robe isn't hanging on the bathroom door. Her phone charger isn't plugged into the wall. The little Buddha statue she kept on her nightstand, gone. I wasn't planning to share this story tonight, but earlier this week, I received an email from a longtime viewer of this channel. He said he'd been watching for months, quietly listening to every confession, until something in my last video struck a chord deep enough to finally make him write. His words weren't fancy, but they were raw, honest. And as I read them, I felt myself pulled back into memories I thought I had buried. At first, I felt shocked, that sharp, hollow punch in the gut when you realize someone else has lived a version of your nightmare. Then came a slow, suffocating sadness, because I could hear his pain between every line, the same loneliness that once sat heavy on my chest. And finally, there was gratitude. Gratitude that he trusted me enough to share, and gratitude that maybe my own scars can help someone else carry theirs. That email is why I'm here tonight. And before I continue, I want to say thank you to you right now. Wherever you're watching from, drop a comment and let me know. I read every single one, and it means more than I can put into words. And for those who keep coming back, video after video, you deserve a super thank you. You're the reason I can keep telling these stories, no matter how much they hurt. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and join the conversation below. Because tonight, I need to tell you everything. Let me take you back to where it all started. Piata? Louder now, panic creeping in. I stumble to the wardrobe, still in my boxers, hands shaking as I pull open her side. Empty. Completely empty. The hangers are still there, swaying slightly like ghosts. Her dresses, her jeans, her collection of those tiny purses she loved, all gone. I yank open drawer after drawer. Nothing. Not even a hair tie. The bathroom. Maybe she's just, reorganizing. But her toothbrush sits alone in the holder, bright pink against white porcelain. Her shampoo bottles are still there, but her makeup bag is gone. Her passport drawer, I know I shouldn't check, but I do. Empty. My knees almost give out. I grip the marble countertop until my knuckles turn white. This isn't real, I whisper to my reflection. The 62-year-old man staring back at me looks pathetic. Gray stubble, panic in his eyes, standing in an expensive condo that suddenly feels like a mausoleum. I walk through every room. Kitchen, her favorite coffee mug is gone. Living room, the little decorative pillows she insisted we buy are missing. Even the photo of us at the night market, the one she said made her feel so happy, is gone from the side table. But here's what breaks me. On the dining table, perfectly centered, sits a single item, my toothbrush holder. The cheap plastic one I brought from Arizona. She left it for me like a consolation prize. I sink into the leather chair we picked out together just 2 months ago. She sat in my lap that day at the furniture store, her arms around my neck, whispering, "This one, Calvin, for our home." Our home. The words echo in my empty condo. My phone. I need to call her. But when I scroll through my contacts, her number's been deleted. Not blocked. Deleted. Like she was never there. I stare at that pink toothbrush for what feels like hours. It's the only proof I have that any of this was real. 6 months ago, I was sitting in my double wide in Mesa, Arizona, drinking beer at 10 in the morning and wondering why I was still alive. My wife Sarah had been gone for 8 months. Cancer, the kind that takes everything slowly, piece by piece, until you're grateful for the end just so the suffering stops. The house felt like a tomb. 43 years of marriage. And suddenly I'm eating cereal for dinner and watching reruns until I fall asleep in my recliner. My daughter called every Sunday. "Dad, you need to get out. meet people, maybe join a senior center. A senior center. Jesus. One night, couldn't sleep, so I'm scrolling YouTube. Video pops up. Why I retired to Thailand at 65. Some guy from California talking about massage parlors and street food and how far your social security goes in Southeast Asia. I almost clicked away. Almost. But then he showed his apartment. Modern, clean, a view of mountains. I pay $400 a month for what would cost me $3,000 back home, he said. I watched 12 more videos that night. Guys like me, widowed, divorced, or just tired of the grind. All of them talking about Thailand like it was some kind of salvation. Warm weather year-round. Friendly people. Medical care that doesn't bankrupt you. Women who actually seem interested in conversation. That last part hit me harder than I wanted to admit. I joined a Facebook group, American Expats in Thailand. The posts were intoxicating. Pictures of guys my age at beachside restaurants, at temples, at birthday parties surrounded by locals who seemed genuinely happy to have them there. One post stuck with me. A retired plumber from Ohio. I spent 40 years fixing other people's problems. Now I wake up every day and ask myself what I want to do. For the first time in my life, there's no wrong answer. I started doing research. Real research. Cost of living, visa requirements, health insurance. I even found a guy named Rick who'd been in Chiang Mai for 5 years. He video called me from his balcony, mountains in the background, and said, "Calvin, what's keeping you in Arizona? Heat that'll kill you and memories that already have." He was right. I listed my house on a Tuesday. Sold it in 6 weeks. Cleaned out the garage, donated Sarah's clothes, and put everything else in storage. My neighbor Jim thought I'd lost my mind. "You're gonna get robbed or kidnapped or worse," he said. "Those people don't think like we do." But I can't look at those posts anymore. They remind me too much of my own delusions. I've been in Thailand for 6 months now. My visa runs out in another 6 months, and I haven't decided what to do yet. Part of me wants to go back to Arizona, find a small apartment near Jessica, become the grandfather I should have been all along. Accept that my adventure phase is over and settle into whatever quiet years I have left. But another part of me isn't ready to give up. Not on Thailand exactly, but on the idea that I can still build something meaningful here, something real this time, built on honesty instead of fantasy. I won't date again. Not for a long time, maybe not ever. I don't trust my judgment anymore, and I can't afford another education in the economics of loneliness. But I can learn the language better. I can volunteer somewhere, contribute something besides money. I can figure out how to be Calvin Morrow in Thailand instead of just another wealthy foreigner waiting to be harvested. Yesterday, I walked past the massage shop where I met her. It's still there. Still advertising, traditional Thai massage, very clean. I wondered if she'd gone back to work, if there was already another middle-aged American sitting in that chair, feeling those first sparks of what he thinks might be love. I almost went in to warn him. Almost. But then I realized that's not my job anymore. Everyone has to learn their own lessons, make their own mistakes. Maybe his story will be different. Maybe he'll be smarter, more careful, luckier than I was. Or maybe he'll end up like me, sitting in a small room across town, counting the cost of believing someone who was never really there. I'm not the same man who landed at Bangkok airport 6 months ago with 2 suitcases and a head full of dreams. That man was naive, desperate, vulnerable to anyone who offered him a reflection of his own longing. This man is harder, sadder, but maybe wiser. I still have about $40,000 left. Enough to live modestly in Thailand for several years, or enough to go home and start over one more time. The choice feels less urgent now. Less like running toward something or away from something, and more like simply deciding what comes next. Some mornings, I wake up and feel genuinely grateful to be alive. The coffee tastes good, the air is warm, and I have nowhere I have to be and no one I have to perform for. Those moments feel like gifts. Other mornings, I wake up and remember that pink toothbrush and the weight of what I lost. Not just the money, but the hope sits on my chest like a stone. Both feelings are true. Both are part of whatever story I'm living now. I came to Thailand to escape the loneliness of widowhood. Instead, I learned that loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about being with someone who doesn't really see you, someone who's looking through you at something else entirely. Now I'm alone again, but it's a different kind of alone. Cleaner. more honest. I may stay in Thailand. I may go home. I may figure out some third option I haven't thought of yet. But whatever I do, I'll do it as myself this time, not as someone's salvation or someone's mark or someone's security system. Just as Calvin Morrow, 62 years old, starting over again, with $40,000 and a hard-earned understanding of the difference between being needed and being loved. The pink toothbrush is in my bathroom now. I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. It sits next to my white one, a daily reminder of what I thought I had and what I actually lost. Some days I think about throwing it out. Some days I'm grateful it's there. It's the only honest thing she left behind. An object with no agenda, no performance, no hidden cost, just a toothbrush that belonged to someone who was never really there. I'm learning to live with that kind of honesty now. It's harder than the fantasy, but it doesn't rob you blind in the middle of the night. And for now, that feels like enough. Wasn't thinking like me either. For the first time since Sarah died, I felt something other than emptiness. Hope, maybe. Or just desperation dressed up as adventure. I landed at Bangkok airport with 2 suitcases, a bank account with $97,000, and a reservation at a guest house in Chiang Mai. The heat hit me like a wall when I stepped outside, but I smiled anyway. I was starting over at 62. How many people get that chance? The taxi driver spoke broken English but kept pointing out landmarks, temples, street vendors. "You like Thailand?" he asked. "I think so," I told him. "I think I'm going to like it very much." I had no idea what I was walking into. I'd been in Chiang Mai for 2 weeks, eating street food and getting lost on purpose, when I found her massage shop. Wasn't even looking for one, but the afternoon heat was brutal, and I saw the sign. Traditional Thai massage, very clean. Clean was what sold me. Half the places I'd walked by looked like they offered services I wasn't interested in. The shop was small, maybe 6 rooms, with Buddhist music playing softly and the smell of lemongrass in the air. The woman at the front desk was young, probably early 20s, with too much makeup and a smile that felt rehearsed. "You want massage? Very good, very cheap." "Just a regular massage," I said, probably too quickly. That's when Paeta appeared from behind a curtain. She was different immediately. Older, maybe 30, with minimal makeup and clothes that actually covered her body. She bowed slightly and said, "Hello, you are new in Thailand?" Her English was careful, deliberate. Not fluent, but clear. "Very new," I said, 2 weeks. "Ah," she smiled, and it reached her eyes. "First time for massage?" I nodded. "I take care of you. Very gentle, no worry." The massage itself was professional. Painful at first. She worked knots out of my shoulders that I didn't even know were there. But her touch was confident, therapeutic. Not once did it feel inappropriate or suggestive. When it was over, I felt better than I had in months. "You have very tight muscles," she said as I sat up. "You worry too much, I think." "Probably," I admitted. She handed me a glass of water and asked, "You live in Chiang Mai now?" "I'm trying to," I said. "Looking for an apartment." "Where you stay now?" I told her about the guest house, how I'd been there 2 weeks, and needed to find something permanent. She listened with genuine interest, nodding, asking follow-up questions. Not like she was making conversation, like she actually cared. "You come back next week," she said. "I hope your muscles feel better." I went back 3 days later. This time, after the massage, she brought me tea instead of water. We sat in the small waiting area, and she asked about America, about my family, about why I came to Thailand. I told her about Sarah, about feeling lost after she died. I told her things I hadn't said out loud to anyone. "My father died when I was young," she said quietly. "Very hard for my mother. She never the same after." She paused and looked at me directly. "You remind me of him." Kind eyes, gentle hands. Something in my chest loosened. It had been so long since someone looked at me and saw something worth caring about. "You want to see River?" she asked. "After work I walk by River, good for healing heart." That evening, we walked along the Ping River as the sun set. We didn't talk much, just walked side by side. She pointed out temples in the distance, told me about festivals that happened on the water. When we sat on a bench, she didn't move away when our shoulders touched. "Thailand can be healing place," she said, "but also can be lonely for Farang. Need good people around you." I looked at her profile in the fading light. She seemed genuinely concerned about my well-being, not flirtatious or agenda-driven, just kind. "Would you like to have dinner tomorrow?" I asked. She turned to face me, studied my face for a moment, then smiled. "Yes, I like that very much." When she placed her hand on mine for just a few seconds, I felt something I thought was buried with Sarah. Connection. The possibility that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't done living yet. 3 weeks after that first dinner, Piata spent the night. Not in the way you might think. She fell asleep on my couch after we'd been talking until 2 in the morning about everything and nothing. When I woke up, she was making coffee in my tiny kitchen, humming that soft melody, wearing my old Arizona Cardinals t-shirt that came down to her knees. "Morning," I said, trying not to stare. "I hope is okay I sleep here," she said, suddenly shy. "Was very late and taxi expensive at night." "Of course it's okay." She smiled, handed me coffee, and said, "You need bigger place." She wasn't wrong. The guest house room was barely large enough for one person, let alone 2 people who were spending every evening together. We'd been seeing each other for 3 weeks, but it felt like months. She knew I took my coffee black, that I couldn't sleep without a fan running, that I missed Mexican food more than I missed snow. "I know good place," she said. "Nice condo, safe area. Maybe we look together?" The way she said "we" made my heart skip. The condo was perfect. Modern building, security guard, view of the mountains from the balcony. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, fully furnished. The rent was $800 a month, which felt like a fortune compared to most Thai prices, but still less than I'd paid for my mortgage in Arizona. "Is beautiful," Piata whispered, walking from room to room. "Like dream." The landlord, a middle-aged Thai man in an expensive suit, spoke excellent English. "For foreign tenant, we require full-year payment advance, plus deposit," he said. "And contract must be in Thai national name for legal purposes." I looked at Piata. She was standing on the balcony, hair blowing in the breeze, and she looked like she belonged there. "Put it in her name," I said. The landlord nodded like this was routine. Piata's eyes went wide. "Calvin is too much," she said. "Very expensive. We'll split everything," I said, though I knew she made maybe $300 a month at the massage shop. "I want us to have a home together." When I transferred $15,000 for the year's rent and deposit, she cried, actually cried. Standing in the bank, she wrapped her arms around me and whispered, "You are angel to me." We moved in the next week. Shopping for household items became our favorite activity. She had opinions about everything: which cooking pots to buy, what color curtains looked best, where to put the small Buddha statue she insisted we needed for good luck. I loved watching her transform our space into something that felt lived in, loved. "My mother very sick," she told me one evening as we were arranging furniture. "Need operation for teeth. Very expensive in Thailand." I was writing a check before she finished the sentence. 80,000 baht, about $2,500. "I pay you back," she said. But I waved her off. "Family is important," I told her. "That's what people do for family." Her eyes filled with tears again. "You are too good for me." A week later, I surprised her with a gold necklace from a jewelry store downtown. Nothing too flashy, just delicate and beautiful like her. When I fastened it around her neck, she looked at herself in the mirror and touched it like it was made of starlight. "You're my blessing, Calvin," she whispered. "My gift from Buddha." Those words played in my head for days. I felt useful again, needed, like I had a purpose beyond just existing. This beautiful, kind woman saw something in me worth caring for. After months of feeling invisible, I was somebody's blessing. I should have been paying attention to how easily the money flowed, how naturally she accepted my generosity, how quickly my apartment became our apartment, my bank account became our expenses. But I was too busy feeling alive again to notice I was being bled dry. The changes started small. Piata began dressing differently when she went to work. Instead of the conservative clothes she'd always worn, she started choosing tighter tops, shorter skirts. When I complimented her new style, she said, "Other girls at shop dress like this, must look professional." Professional. Right. She started working longer hours too, coming home at 9 or 10 at night instead of 6. "Many customers now," she explained. "Good for money." I wanted to believe it was that simple. Business was good, she was making more money, But something felt different when she came home. Distant. Like part of her was still somewhere else. One evening, I suggested we cook dinner together like we used to. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone with intense focus. Maybe later, Calvin. Very tired today. Long day? Yes, very busy. She didn't look up from her phone. I sat down next to her, tried to see what was so captivating. She quickly switched screens to Facebook. Who were you texting? I asked, trying to sound casual. Just friend from work, she said, but her shoulders tensed. That's when I noticed the second phone. It was tucked between the couch cushions, partially hidden. Small, cheap-looking. I'd never seen it before. What's that one for? I pointed to it. She followed my gaze and her face flushed. Oh, that. His old phone, broken. I forget to throw away. But as she reached for it, the screen lit up with a text notification. Definitely not broken. Piata. Is nothing important, she said quickly, grabbing both phones. I go take shower now. She disappeared into the bathroom, taking both phones with her. I heard the lock click. Over the next few weeks, the pattern continued. Late nights, secretive phone calls, and a growing distance between us. She still slept in our bed, still kissed me goodbye in the mornings, but it felt performative, like she was going through motions. One night, she came home wearing a dress I'd never seen. Bright red, expensive looking, way too fancy for a massage therapist's salary. That's beautiful, I said. New? Customer give to me, she said, not meeting my eyes. She very happy with massage. A customer gave you a dress? Thai people very generous, she said. You don't understand Thai culture. But I was starting to understand something else. The late nights, the new clothes, the mysterious second phone. I just didn't want to admit what I was understanding. The breaking point came when I saw a text pop up on her main phone while she was in the shower. The preview was visible on the lock screen. Can I see you tonight? Miss you already. My blood went cold. I stood there staring at those words until the screen went dark. When Piata came out of the bathroom, I was sitting on the edge of the bed, hands shaking. Who's texting you? I asked. What you mean? I saw a message. Someone asking to see you tonight. Her face went through several expressions. Surprise, guilt, then something harder. Defiance. You look at my phone? She asked. It was just sitting there. The message popped up. Is private, she said firmly. You have no right. I'm not trying to invade your privacy, but nothing is my phone. My life. You think because you pay rent, you own me? The accusation hit like a slap. That's not what I think. Then stop acting like jealous husband, she said, her voice colder than I'd ever heard it. I work. I have friends. Is normal. She grabbed her red dress from the closet and started getting dressed. Where are you going? I asked. Out with friend. As I plan. What friend? Calvin, please. You worry too much. Make yourself sick with jealous. She walked over, sat on my lap and put her arms around my neck. The familiar gesture, but it felt calculated now. I love only you, she whispered, kissing my cheek. You are my home. Trust me, okay? I wanted to trust her. God, I wanted to believe that everything I was seeing had an innocent explanation. So I nodded and watched her leave in that red dress, smelling like expensive perfume I'd never bought her. She came home at 3 a.m. I pretended to be asleep. The money requests started coming faster after that. Always with a story, always with tears, always with promises to pay me back someday. My uncle in Bangkok very sick. Piata told me over breakfast one morning. Need operation for heart. Family must help. She showed me a photo on her phone, an older Thai man in a hospital bed, tubes coming out of his nose. It looked genuine. My skepticism felt cruel. How much do they need? I asked. 50,000 baht. Is a lot of money for Thai family. $1,500. I transferred it that afternoon. 2 weeks later, government say I owe tax on land my grandmother leave to me. If I don't pay, they take land. Is only thing my family have. 40,000 baht this time, about $1,200. A week after that, my sister need money for school uniform and book for her children. School very expensive now. 20,000 baht. Each time, she cried. Each time, she promised it was the last time. Each time, she held me close and whispered about how grateful she was, how I was saving her family, how she would do anything to pay me back. You don't need to pay me back, I told her after the third request. We're together. Your family is my family now. She looked at me with what seemed like genuine surprise. You really think that? Of course. You are too good, Calvin. Thai men not like you. They only think about themselves. The compliment should have made me feel proud. Instead, I felt used. Like my goodness was a weakness she'd learned to exploit. But I kept giving. Partly because I loved her, partly because I was afraid of what would happen if I stopped. The money was my leverage, my proof that I was valuable to her. Without it, what did I have to offer a beautiful 31-year-old woman? My bank account dropped from $97,000 to $78,000, then to $62,000, then to $45,000. Each withdrawal felt like I was buying another month of her affection. The worst part wasn't the money itself, it was how she asked for it. The performance became more elaborate each time. She'd start by seeming troubled, distracted. When I asked what was wrong, she'd initially say nothing. I'd have to pry it out of her, make her feel safe enough to share her family's latest crisis. I don't want to burden you, she'd say. You already do so much. Tell me what's wrong. Is my problem not yours? Your problems are my problems now. And then the tears would come, and the story, and the request that was never quite a request. Just a vulnerable woman sharing her pain with the man who loved her, trusting that he would want to help. It worked every time. One evening, after I'd transferred another 20,000 baht for her mother's medication, I was reviewing my bank statement online. The numbers were stark. In 4 months, I'd spent nearly $50,000 between the condo, her family's needs, and our daily expenses. Are you okay? Piata asked, appearing behind me. You look worried. I quickly closed the laptop. Just checking some things. She sat on my lap, ran her fingers through my hair. You work too hard, even in retirement. Need to relax more. I'm fine. You sure? You seem different lately. More, how you say, stress. I looked at her face, searching for some sign that she understood what she was doing to me. But all I saw was concern. Genuine or performed, I couldn't tell anymore. I just want to make sure I'm taking good care of you, I said. She kissed my forehead. You take perfect care of me. You are my future, Calvin. My security. Security. The words stuck with me. I was her security system. Her insurance policy. Her personal ATM with feelings. But I was too afraid to turn off the money flow and find out what would happen to her love when the funds ran dry. I'm back in the empty condo now, staring at that pink toothbrush, trying to piece together her exit strategy. She was thorough, professional, even. I called down to the building manager, a friendly man named Somchai who always greeted us warmly when we came home together. Ah, Mr. Calvin, he says when I reach the front desk. You okay? You look sick. Piata, I manage. Did you see her leave? His expression changes immediately, sympathy mixed with something else. Recognition, maybe, like he's had this conversation before. She turned in key at 3 this morning, he says gently. Very quiet, no luggage, just small purse and envelope. Envelope? Yes. White envelope. Thick, like maybe money inside. My money. Cash I'd withdrawn yesterday because she said she wanted to visit her sister over the weekend, needed money for gas and food. $3,000 in an envelope, handed to her with a kiss and drive safe, baby. Did she say where she was going? Somchai shakes his head. Just say she moving out. Give back key and security card. Very polite, as always. Was anyone with her? Taxi waiting. Driver help her with bag. I thought you said no luggage. Small bag, like travel bag. Maybe clothes for few days. She'd planned this. While I was sleeping next to her, she was packing a go bag and planning her escape route. How long had she been preparing? Days? Weeks? The entire relationship? Back upstairs, I force myself to take inventory. My laptop is gone, the expensive MacBook I'd used to transfer money to her accounts. My backup credit card is missing from my wallet. I check my bank account online using my phone. 2 large transfers made at 2:47 a.m. and 2:52 a.m. $15,000 each. $30,000 drained from my account while I slept in our bed, probably with her sitting right there next to me, typing in the transfer details on my laptop. My stomach lurches. I run to the bathroom and dry heave over the toilet. Nothing comes up but bile and humiliation. I call my bank. The automated system confirms the transfers. Both went to accounts I don't recognize. When I finally get through to a human being, they tell me what I already know. The transfers were made using my legitimate login credentials. No fraud from their perspective. But I didn't authorize these, I say. The transfers originated from your registered IP address using your username and password. Without evidence of unauthorized access to your accounts, there's little we can do. Registered IP address. Our condo Wi-Fi. She used my own internet connection to rob me. I should call the police, but something stops me. Embarrassment maybe, or the growing certainty that this won't be news to them. Finally, I walk to the local police station. It's a small building, crowded and hot, with plastic chairs and the smell of instant coffee. The officer who takes my statement is young, professional, and completely unsurprised by my story. "You have copy of bank transfer?" he asks in accented English. I show him screenshots on my phone. "And lady, she have access to your computer? She lived with me." He nods like this explains everything. "You give password to her?" "No, but..." I trail off. She'd watched me check my bank account dozens of times. Probably memorized my login information months ago. "Very difficult to prosecute," the officer says gently. "She live in same house, you give money before, no evidence of force or threaten. But she stole from me. You have proof she take without permission? Or maybe she think you give, like other times?" The logic is crushing. Every previous transfer, every previous gift, every previous loan had established a pattern. From a legal standpoint, she was just continuing behavior I'd encouraged and rewarded for months. "How many Faring come here with this story?" I ask. The officer's expression softens. "Many, sir, very many. Is common problem. Common problem. I'm a statistic. A cliché. The stupid American who thought he was special, thought he was different, thought his money was buying love instead of performance. Usually, lady disappear completely," the officer continues. "Change phone number, move to different city. Very hard to find. So there's nothing I can do? File report, yes. But getting money back." He shakes his head sympathetically. "Very difficult, sir. Very sorry." I walk home through the afternoon heat, sweating through my shirt, carrying a police report that's worth less than the paper it's printed on. Tourists and locals bustle past me, living their lives, while I move through the city like a ghost haunting the scene of his own murder. The toothbrush is still there when I get back, pink and cheerful and mocking. I've been sitting in this leather chair for 3 hours now, scrolling through photos on my phone. Here's Piata and me at the night market, her laughing at something I said, my arm around her waist. Here we are at a temple, her hands pressed together in prayer while I smile awkwardly at the camera. Here's the selfie from our first week in the condo, both of us beaming like we'd won the lottery. Looking at these pictures now is like watching a movie where I know the ending. Every smile feels calculated. Every loving glance seems like she's measuring my wallet with her eyes. Was any of it real? Even for a moment? I remember our first kiss. We'd been walking by the river, talking about her childhood, about her father who died when she was 12. She started crying when she told me how much she missed him, how she wished he could meet me. When I put my arm around her to comfort her, she looked up at me with tears in her eyes and said, "You have such kind heart, Calvin." The kiss was soft, tentative, like she was afraid of moving too fast, like she genuinely cared about not hurting me. Was that performance too? Had she practiced that exact sequence with other men? The dead father story, the tears at precisely the right moment, the vulnerable kiss that made me feel like I was rescuing her instead of being hunted? My phone buzzes with a notification. For a split second, my heart leaps. Maybe it's her. Maybe there's some explanation. Maybe this is all a misunderstanding. But it's just a spam email about vacation rentals in Phuket. I delete it and keep scrolling through our photos. Here's one from last month. We'd gone to a cooking class together. She's concentrating intensely on chopping vegetables while I'm clearly more interested in watching her than learning to cook. She looks so focused, so present. How was she thinking about robbing me while teaching me to make pad thai? The apartment feels enormous now. Every corner holds a memory that's been poisoned. The kitchen where she made me coffee every morning. The balcony where we'd sit and watch the sunset. The bedroom where she'd curl up against me and whisper about our future together. "Next year, maybe we travel to America," she'd said one night, her head on my chest. "I want to see where you grow up. You'd love Arizona," I told her. Wide open spaces, big sky, Nothing like Thailand. Will your daughter like me? She'll love you. Even that conversation was probably scripted. Part of the long game to keep me invested, keep me believing in a future that she never intended to share. I think about calling my daughter Jessica. She lives in Portland now, married with 2 kids. She'd warned me about moving to Thailand in the first place. Dad, you're vulnerable right now. Mom's only been gone a year. Maybe wait a while before making any big changes. But I'd been so determined to prove I wasn't just another lonely widower waiting to die. I was going to have an adventure. I was going to find love again. I was going to show everyone that Calvin Morrow still had some living left to do. What would I tell Jessica now? That her cautious, practical father had been seduced and robbed by a woman young enough to be her sister? That I'd blown through half my life savings chasing a fantasy? The worst part isn't the money. It's the realization that I was never really Calvin to Piata. I was just another Mark. Another lonely foreigner with more money than sense. She probably had a whole catalog of moves, a whole playbook for reeling in guys like me. The sick uncle, the land tax, the sister's school fees. Were any of those people even real? Or was it all fiction, carefully crafted to extract maximum sympathy and cash? I close my eyes and try to remember one moment, just one, where her affection felt completely genuine. But now everything is suspect. Every touch, every laugh, every whispered "I love you" in the dark. I was so proud of myself for finding love again. So sure I'd beaten the odds, proved that life could surprise you even at 62. I thought I was the hero of my own story. I was the fool. I moved out of the condo yesterday, found a small room across town for $200 a month. No view, no marble counters, no memories of her humming in the kitchen. Just a bed, a table, a chair, and a window that looks out at a concrete wall. The landlord at the fancy place kept my security deposit, of course. Lady who lease apartment is gone, he explained with a shrug. Contract broken. Very sorry. Another $1,500 evaporated, but honestly I barely felt it. What's $1,500 when you've already lost $50,000? What's one more insult when you've been stripped bare? I'm learning to live small again. Instant coffee instead of the expensive beans Piata insisted we needed. Street food instead of restaurants. My old habits from Arizona, but in a place that still feels foreign even after all these months. The hardest part isn't the money or the betrayal. It's the silence. For 4 months I lived with constant conversation, constant companionship, the illusion that someone cared about my day, my thoughts, my feelings. Now I can go whole days without speaking to another human being. But the silence is also a gift. It's letting me hear things I'd been drowning out. Like the voice in my head that knew something was wrong months ago. The instinct I ignored because I wanted so badly to believe I was loved. I don't hate Piata. That surprises me. I should hate her, right? She systematically robbed me, lied to me, performed love for months while planning her exit strategy. But when I try to summon rage, all I feel is exhaustion. Maybe she needed the money more than I needed to keep it. Maybe she has a sick mother and a struggling family and saw me as a solution to problems I can't imagine. Or maybe she's a professional predator who's done this to dozens of men, and I was just her latest payday. I'll probably never know which version is true. What I do know is this: my desperation made me blind. After Sarah died, I was so hungry for connection, so terrified of dying alone, that I mistook transaction for relationship. I saw what I needed to see and ignored everything else. The guys in the Facebook group are still posting their happy photos. Smiling faces at beach bars, temple visits, birthday celebrations with their Thai girlfriends. Maybe some of those relationships are real. Maybe some of those men found what I thought I'd found.